Good morning. Today's topic is qualities of good algorithm. What are the good qualities of an algorithm? First one is input and output should be defined precisely. Right? Whatever the inputs which you given and the outputs whatever we get, those are must be in a preciously means exact values or correct values, right, without any ambiguous, right. Next, second one, each step in the algorithm should be clear and unambiguous. Already I told you these are also good characteristics of an algorithm. Each step must be in a very clear and unambiguous means the person who doesn't know about the problem must also know by reading the statements, right. So each and every step must be very clear and not leads to confusion, right. Algorithm should be most effective among many different ways to solve a problem, right. And this algorithm may also useful for various related problem solving, right. Most effective means it may be useful for different ways to solve a problem. Next, an algorithm should not include computer code. Instead, the algorithm should be written in such a way that it can be used in different programming languages. See, in algorithm we cannot use any programming language. You have to write only the steps in a normal English, and the algorithm must be in a position to implement in any programming language like C or C++ or Java, something, right. Algorithm should be in a position to develop in any programming language, means different programming languages. See, we have to see the different types of algorithms, right. An algorithm to add two numbers entered by the user. See, write an algorithm for adding two numbers. The numbers are entered by the user. I mean entered from the keyboard. First, step one. You just remember that algorithm always represented in the form of step-by-step fashion. The steps which are used to solve for the given problem, you have to write in the form of step-by-step manner, then it is called algorithm. So step one, start and stop are common for all algorithms. First, declare variables number 1, number 2 and number 3 or sum and sum, okay, and sum. We need three variables, number 1, number 2 and here you have to write you have to calculate sum, so you have to take sum or C or number 3, no problem about the variables. So read values of number 1 and number 2. We have to read two values, number 1 and number 2. And step 4, add number 1 and number 2 and assign the sum to sum. Sir, sum goes to number 1 and number 2. See, observe the step 4 clearly. We have to add number 1 value and number 2 value. Both are assigned to sum. Okay, next step 5, display sum and stop. Okay, sixth step, stop. So this is an algorithm for writing for addition of two numbers. For addition of two numbers, we need two numbers, right. We read it from the keyboard and add the two numbers and stores the result in sum, right. Next, algorithm for this is an algorithm for finding the largest number among three numbers. See, largest number among three numbers entered by the user. So no problem. See, you know algorithm for finding biggest of two numbers. For biggest of three numbers, we need to have three numbers first. First start, declare variables a, comma b and c. Okay, we have to take variables a, b and c, and read variables a, b and c. Means you have to take values of a, b and c. First we have to compare a greater than b. See conditions, hope you know, if else, nested if else and else if ladder. These are the control flow statements which are used to control the flow of execution of the program. Right here, if a greater than b, okay, so you think just we have three values. Our aim is to find the biggest number among these three numbers, right? So you read three values a, b and c, and first the comparison is a is compared with b. So if it is true, which means a is greater than b, and again we have to compare a with c. Okay, a is compared with b, a is greater than b, it is true, and again we have to compare a is greater than c. If it is also true, then simply display a is the largest number, because a is compared with b, it is okay, a is greater than b, and then whatever the remaining value is c. So a is also compared with c. So if it is also true, then we simply say a is the largest number. Okay, suppose if a is greater than b, it is true, but a is not greater than c. Suppose second condition is false, we simply say display c is the largest number. Okay, c is the largest number. We have get two possibilities, a is greater than b and a is also greater than c. Then we simply say a is the largest number. And suppose a is greater than b, but a is less than c. A b కంటే పెద్దది, బట్ c కంటే చిన్నది అంటే ఆటోమేటిక్గా c అనేదే పెద్దది. సో c is largest number. Suppose the first condition is true, false, a is not greater than b. Simply it comes to this else statement, and if b greater than c, display b is the biggest number, else display c is the greatest number. Greatest or largest, no, both are no problem. So next, then stop. So we get all the possibilities a, c and b. Okay, whenever the first condition is false, it comes to the statement if b greater than c. A is greater than b is false, means b is big number. So b greater than c is true, then simply say b is the big number, else c is the big number. Okay, this is about greatest of three numbers, algorithm for greatest of or largest of three numbers. Next, an algorithm for finding roots of a quadratic equation like ax square plus bx plus c. You know that roots of the quadratic equation formula, minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a, right? That is roots of the quadratic equation, right? Here start, declare variables. What are the variables we need to require here? A, b, c, d, right? x1, x, right? r1 comma r2, right? First we have to calculate the discriminant. Discriminant means b square minus 4ac. D is to b square. You have to write b square, that is not b2, it is a b square. B into b minus 4 into a into c, b square minus 4ac, right? First we have to calculate the discriminant. discriminant is equal to b square minus 4ac. We calculate b square minus 4ac. In step 4, if d greater than or equal to 0, discriminant greater than or equal to 0, right? R1 is equal, it means R1 is equal to minus b plus square root sqrt. Instead of this, you can also use sqrt. D means already b square minus by 2 into a. Suppose, and R2 is equal to minus b minus root of d by 2 into a. Root of d means b square minus 4ac. Display R1 and R2 as a root. Next, else, I mean, if d greater than or equal to 0 is false, calculate real part and rp is equal to minus b by 2 into a, ip is equal to minus d by 2 into a, right? Display and rp and ip, stop. Okay, this is about roots of the quadratic equation. Next, write an algorithm for finding factorial of the given number. Hope you know factorial program. Hope 5 factorial is equal to and means 5 into 4 into 2 into 3 into 1, which gives you 120. Like that, here you have to write an algorithm for finding the factorial of the given number. First, step 1, start, declare variable n, and we have to take a variable which is called factorial. Initialize a variable factorial which is 1, and I is equal to 1. Read value of n. Here, read the value of n means whatever the value which you find the factorial. N means n5 means 5 factorial value. N4 means 4 factorial value. N10 means 10 factorial value. So n is nothing but the value which you have to find the factorial, right? Repeat, here we use a loop, repeat the steps until I is equal to n. Factorial is equal to factorial into I. So factorial value initially 1, factorial value initially 1, and into I value is n. So that means I value, factorial value 1, I value 5. 1 into 5 is equal to 5, and then the value of I is incremented by 1, right? Next, so 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, right? So after completion of this, the whole value, factorial value is stored at factorial, and display the factorial and stop. Okay. Next, write an algorithm to check whether a given number entered by the user is a prime or not. See, hope you know the definition of a prime number. A number which is divisible by 1 and itself is called a prime number. Means prime number contains only 2 factors, that is 1 and itself. A number, right? A number having only 2 factors, that is 1 and itself, is called prime number, right? 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, these are called prime numbers. Here, declare a variable n, I comma flag, initialize flag variables. Flag is equal to 1, I is equal to 2. Read n from the user, means we have to read the value which is find whether the given number is prime or not. Repeat the steps until I is equal to n by 2. If the remainder of n plus n modulo division I equals to 0, flag is equal to 0, go to step 6. See, step 6 means flag is equal to 0, display n is not prime number, n is not prime number, else n is prime number. Okay, if you can get the value remainder is 0, then definitely you can say that it is not a prime number, because 3 2 ones are 2, the remainder is 1. 5, 2 twos are 4, remainder is 1. 7, 2 threes are 6, the remainder is 1. 11, 2 fives are 10, the remainder is 1. So if you can get the remainder value is equal to 0, then we can definitely say that the given number is not a prime number. Suppose you can get the remainder is 1, then we can say it is a prime number. See, write an algorithm to find the Fibonacci series till 1000 terms. Hope you all know Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series means 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 8 means 0 we have to add 0 with 1, 1, 1 with 1, 2, 2 with 1, 3, 3 with 2, 5, 5 with 2, 7, like that. We have to add the existing term with its previous term, you can get the result. That series is called Fibonacci series. Here we have to see first term, second term and temp, right? Temp is equal to second term, second term is equal to second term plus third term, first term, and first term is equal to temp and display second term and stop. This is algorithm for printing Fibonacci series up to 1000 terms, right?